Yes, what the
update the country.
Yeah.
Why was there conflicting reports between your ministry and that of the Interior?
You know, I don't understand where this is coming from. There is no radical departure between the action that Ministry of Interior took and what I stated. Yeah?
You gave a statement saying Kenyans are giving their data voluntarily, they have not done anything wrong, and then the Ministry of Interior comes and says we are shutting this down. You don't see
No. Let me tell you one thing. The way we work in this Kenya Kwanza government is that there is no position of the Ministry of ICT and there is no individual position of the Ministry of Interior. We are adapting a whole government approach.
Did you adapt that before the statement went out?
Oh yes, there is no contradiction here. And for purposes of clarity, let me repeat what I said. What I did say at that point in time was that at the point of registration, Worldcoin had met all the necessary, the requisite requirements for purposes of registration. What Kenyans need to understand is that there is a difference between registration and operationalization. What happens when you are registered, even a company, for example, if I may use a hypothetical example for purposes of illustration, if you go to the business registration services, the registrar of companies, there are statutory minimum requirements for registering a what? A company, okay? You meet those minimum requirements for purposes of registration, but there are attendant rules, regulations, and guidelines which you need to conform to in the course of operationalization. What happened in the case of Worldcoin is that they met the threshold of being registered as a data processor by the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner. Now, when it comes to operationalization, there are rules, regulations, and guidelines which a data processor or a data controller, for that matter, needs to conform to. In the course of operationalization, your level of conformity or otherwise will then determine whether you continue remaining in the market. And in the case of a situation where you are not conforming to the set rules and regulations, then there will be means and measures of recourse.
So they were licensed.
What happened? They were licensed as a data processor.
Were you then surprised by what they were doing, mining data from Kenya?
You see, what happened at that point in time, the data commissioner had already even issued an alert to Kenyans as far as the operations of Worldcoin is concerned. We had gone ahead through the Office of the Data Commissioner to issue an advisory. Investigations were ongoing. And at that point in time when I talked about this issue, I did say that in the course of operationalization, certain issues have now emerged, some bordering on security, some bordering on operationalization from the aspect of the Office of the Data Commissioner, and some taking a regulatory perspective. And I did say that investigations had commenced. So there is no radical departure between what I stated and the action that the Ministry of Interior undertook. If anything, the action by the Ministry of Interior was in conformity to what I had earlier on asserted to, that there were actually investigations ongoing and the government was going to issue a comprehensive statement later on that day at that point in time as far as that issue is concerned.
Do you have
it is in tandem. We don't have silo approaches in this government. We are adapting a whole government approach.
Do you have a system of verifying what that institution is licensed to do and what the operations are on the ground?
Oh, yes.
Or do you just bumped into it like the way KICC happened?
You know, as in any other facet, when you register a company, there must be a mechanism for monitoring whether or not they are conforming to the set rules and regulations. The Office of the Data Commissioner is not an exception. But I really don't want to go into too much details as far as this is concerned because there are investigations going on both locally and internationally as far as this issue of Worldcoin is concerned. So I would rather we let it rest, leave it to the investigating agencies to do their bit. At that point in time when there is a comprehensive report, the government will announce the position as far as that.
But Kenyans are concerned, Waziri. More than 350,000 of them gave their biodata. What happens to those ones?
That data is secure. If anything, the Office of the Data Commissioner has gone ahead to ensure that that data is not going to be infringed. But I don't want to go into these details at this point in time because I run the risk of jeopardizing the ongoing investigations.
Are you aware of when this investigation might end and when should Kenyans expect a comprehensive report from your side?
As and when the report is ready, we'll tell Kenyans. You see,
is there time?
We act responsibly. We are a responsible government. If there is information that needs to be shared with the public, as and when that information is ready, we'll definitely release it to the public. Because we serve the interests of the public. That's why we exist as government. We govern on the behalf of the people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk
I think let it rest for now. as and when we have got a comprehensive status report, we'll disseminate it.
Okay.
Yeah.